Sup guys, welcome to A1 in a Box. We'll be looking at some gaming footage today, but before we get into that, I know what you're thinking. Why not just build a PC if I'm going to be using it to game with, and why spend so much money? My brother is a huge PC guy and I've got a lot of flack from him. Well, the thing is, I use Final Cut Pro and have been using Logic Pro back when I got the first MacBook Air. And some of the music you hear in my videos, I created, so I actually use the Pro programs. I also love the integration across all devices, and you can't deny the build quality of Apple products. This is actually my first iMac, and the specs this year is what really piqued my interest to where I thought I'd give it a try. And I love the game, so being able to do that smoothly is just a cherry on top. Now for those of you who don't use the Pro programs, then an older iMac or a MacBook would be a smarter choice, since these aren't cheap. But if you're here watching this video, you're probably considering the new iMac and wondering about the gaming situation. So I'm here to help you guys out, but keep in mind, if you're only going to use it for gaming but still want an Apple computer, I'd just recommend building a PC and buying a 2015 MacBook Pro, since that would probably be the same cost as the iMac. So the games I'll be going over are League of Legends, Rocket League, Overwatch, and PUBG. For the last two, I did have to bootcamp to play them. Before we get into the gameplay, here are the specs of my iMac. I have the 27-inch 4.2 GHz i7 with 40 GB of RAM. On a side note, do not buy upgraded RAM from Apple. It's much cheaper to buy a third-party RAM. And I have the Radeon Pro 580. This is probably overkill for the average consumer, but I figured if I'm spending a lot of money, I might as well go the whole 9 yards. Also, the refresh rate on the monitor is 60 Hz. So in simple terms, you would be seeing a maximum of 60 frames per second, since that's what the monitor is capped at. But the game could be running higher than that. So let's start off with League of Legends. Now, if you've seen my MacBook Pro review, then you know that I've been playing this game on Mac OS. So here are the settings that I play at, and on the iMac, I get about 120 FPS. But for some reason, when I started screen recording, it lowered the FPS by about 20, so whatever you see, just add 20. But the important thing is that I ran into no issues of lag, whether it be in the laning phase or in team fights. So as you can see, I'm playing Teemo, and it was just no contest, and I think it's because of the new iMac, but I'm just kidding, but it was buttery smooth and I experienced no lag. Next game is Rocket League. Now, this game is a lot harder than it looks, and I have so much more respect to those who actually are good at this game. I couldn't get the FPS counter to work, but this thing was buttery smooth and I experienced no lag once again. The settings I had were the default settings, and if you're looking to play this on the iMac, then you'll have no problems whatsoever. Now on to the Windows games. The bootcamp went smoothly and I've had no issues running Overwatch on the iMac. Here are the settings I played at and was smooth once again. One thing to note is, sometimes my FPS will drop to 17 for some odd reason, but if I just go back to the desktop and switch back, the FPS shoots right back up to around 90. It's weird, but I never have the issue while I'm actually in game. Only when I'm in between games do I notice this. Once I do switch back and forth, the FPS stays at around 90 for a while. It might happen once or twice in like a couple of hours. Overall though, I am happy that I am able to play this game without any lag or stuttering, while still playing with the graphics quality set at Ultra. Now before we move on to the next game, I'm a new Overwatch player, but this next play got me feeling like a pro, and it just felt so good I had to share. So enough of that, my experience with PUBG wasn't the best. These are the specs I was working with at first, and I was lagging like crazy, even with low settings. Here's what the gameplay looks like with those settings, and as you can see, it was just driving me crazy. It was super laggy, really choppy, and I was in the range of about 5 to 10 FPS, which is ridiculous. There had to be something I was setting wrong, so I found out the resolution was trying to match the monitors, which is 5K, so I turned it down to 1080p and put the settings to very low. So once I applied those settings, the FPS shot up to around 30, which is definitely not super good, but as you can see, compared to the other settings, I felt like I was playing at 200 FPS. Now if you saw in the settings, the screen mode was windowed, so I'm able to expand the size, but when I played it at a default size, which is this tiny little thing, and I was able to get about 120 FPS, but it was so small that I couldn't really play well on it. So this is the only game I had issues with, which makes sense because even my brother's computer, which has an Nvidia 980 Ti and plays at 1440p with a mix of high and medium, experiences a little bit of lag from time to time. By tweaking the settings and not making the window screen too big, you are able to play it, unlike the first footage you saw which was trying to output 5K. So you'll just have to mess around with what size you're comfortable playing at. Like I said in the beginning, this has a 60Hz refresh rate, so making the window that outputs 60 frames per second might be the best solution. In conclusion, the iMac is capable of playing all these games even if PUBG's settings had to be tweaked to a lower quality, which sucks, but that's just the way it is. But the other games I am able to play at high settings. I didn't want to make this video too long, so I went over the settings I played on and how smooth the gameplay is for each game. Now, since I did briefly go over each game, if you want me to go in more detail with playing with different settings, then please feel free to leave a comment down below on which game to test more. For example, for PUBG, I can try different combinations and see what the optimal settings would be, which would probably take a separate video. I hope this helps you make a decision for whatever reason for watching this video. If you have any questions, requests, or comments, leave them down below and I'll be sure to answer them. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, peace.